Hello, I'm Joseph Michelli, consultant and organizational psychologist with this installment of Coping with Change and Uncertainty. Long before I started writing books about brands that focus on positive human experiences, I wrote a book titled Humor, Play, and Laughter, Stress-Proofing Life with Your Kids. As I look back 22 years to when I published that book, I'm amused by the notion that anyone could stress-proof life with their kids, particularly nowadays with children outside of traditional classrooms. Now that said, humor is a powerful and important tool for dealing with stress. So before I share a few ways to constructively use humor and help others like your family members use it during these challenging times, I have a few cautionary notes. First, humor is a tool that can be used for healing or hurting. And to get a sense of the destructive power of humor, think of a time you were the butt of a joke or where humor was used to divide people, like blonde jokes or ethnic jokes. Alternatively, I can think of times where humor has brought people together or nurtured self-acceptance. For example, there was a debate with Stephen Foster where Foster accused Abraham Lincoln of being two-faced. And Lincoln ambled up to the podium to respond. He paused, he looked at the crowd and said, "I leave it to you. If I had two faces, do you think I'd wear this one?" Second, humor is context-based, meaning there is a time and place for it. In my book, Humor, Play, and Laughter, I shared a story of my days as an altar boy in the Catholic Church. I was serving during a funeral when a fellow altar boy spilled hot coals from the incense burner onto the altar's carpet. I immediately began pouring holy water on the carpet, and as the mini fire was extinguished, I began laughing uncontrollably. Suffice it to say, my amusement and laughter were particularly ill-timed. Many people are facing substantial losses these days, and we should think about context as we express our humor skills. That's not to say we won't see a significant amount of dark or what is often referred to as gallows humor. Those forms of humor will try to get us to laugh at the very things we fear most. Enough cautionary messages. Let's focus first on laughter and then two comedic techniques that you can use. From a brain-body perspective, laughter may truly be one of our best medicines, as it activates our parasympathetic nervous system, producing endorphins and enkephalins, natural painkillers, and also a relaxation response. In fact, people from across the world have been meeting face-to-face on a daily basis for years in laughter clubs. Typically, the leaders of those meetings begin with some breathing exercises and instruct attendees to repeat lots of ha-has and ho-hos, and then steward the group through what is sometimes referred to as laughing yoga. An example of an online leader of laughing yoga is Bianca Spears. If you'd like to experience laughing yoga, you can find her videos on YouTube, and most last about 20 minutes. For others who need something funny to get them laughing, I recommend you schedule a comedy break on a regular basis. For you, that may mean watching comedy clips online, or it could mean streaming a favorite TV sitcom, or even scheduling a comedy movie night with a tried and tested movie classic. If you need ideas, there are plenty of internet sites that list the funniest movies of all time. However you make it happen, it's probably time to intentionally relieve stress through belly laughing. While there are many online laughter clubs, streaming comedy movies, and comedians posting content on the internet these days, the late, great comedian Steve Allen once said that the funniest things in life are the unintended humor of reality. In essence, we can look around and find things happening each day that make us smile, so we can activate what I call our amuse system as opposed to our immune system. So here are a couple of techniques you might want to try. The first is a joy list, and the second is a good news, bad news technique. In an earlier installment, I encouraged you to write down things for which you're grateful. In essence, a gratitude journal. Today's tool is similar but slightly different. A joy list involves jotting down things that make you smile on a given day, whereas a gratitude journal is a thoughtful reflection on the people and things for which you are deeply grateful. For example, my family, my health, my work have all made it onto my gratitude journal, but certain moments in my day make it onto my joy list. For example, the other day, My wife Patty made enchiladas, and as I approached the kitchen table, she welcomed me to the Michelli Cantina, complete with chips and salsa and mariachi music playing on our stereo in the background. Her willingness to create a Mexican restaurant ambiance made it into that day's joy list. A gratitude journal should remind you of your blessings. Your joy list should help you keep an eye out for the moments in each day where your blessings are touching your life. Okay, here's the final coping tool for the week. I call it the good news, bad news technique. Vaudevillian comedians like Groucho Marx might say something like, I got some good news and I got some bad news. Which would you like? And no matter what you chose, they would put a punchline that turned the bad news into good news or vice versa. So I encourage you this week to ask yourself to look for good news in the bad. Often the good news will be just a small silver lining in a dark cloud, but the very act of looking for it means you aren't as focused on the darkness. Let me give you one example. This week, the bad news has been this is my 6th week locked in this house. Other than going to an ATM once, I have been here. So the bad news is obvious. And the good news is, bump. The good news is the money I'm saving on gasoline. Okay, it's not much good news, but it's something. So I'd like for you to play with the technique so that you might find a few moments where you can turn your frown upside down. Look for more coping installments soon, but until then, be safe and be strong.